So, Taylor, what happened last time?
You're muted, Chris.
Uh, what happened last time?
Okay, so Turkara was scaling a hill in the jungle, say the jungle nearby Kinatra village, and this was the first time she had really been alone for quite a while. Um, she contemplates the fate of Kinatra. What is there to be done? She asks Havoc and the Rain. At first, there's no response, but she centers herself, entering a sort of meditative stance, and she experiences a powerful vision with eagles, eyes, and the powerful mind behind them. Then a Vargath appears and speaks. They share words of Turkara's quest. Then her vision is turned to the neglected and their home. We see Natalie, a halfling who has piqued the interest of Balakai and is the first to be introduced, I believe. Then there's Balakai himself, who seems to be the neglected's lord. Um, he wields Deuside, the Black Blade. Next is a giant, I believe it's a giant undead dragon, Sargulmyra. I'm probably butchering that.
Pretty close.
Then K-Dub Katha, followed by Arlist, and then Sazaron, who, they each have their own um, nature. Eventually, I think shortly after the introduction of the halfling, they begin to discuss the secret swords and the failing of Sazaron, who was the same guy at the ruined bridge that was trying to be an asshole, and we kicked him in the river. I believe is what his fate was. Um, Balakai sends Katha and Natalie to conduct a reconnaissance on the secret swords. The neglected discussed for a while about, what are they going to do about the secret swords before they ultimately come to the conclusion that they need to learn more about the swords before they make a decision. Eventually, Turkara comes back to herself, Havoc then instructing her to hunt the neglected down and kill them, as they are a plight to Eochora. Um, I think that pretty much concluded that segment. I think shortly thereafter, Taylor Lanson had to go deal with meatball vomit. But as I understand it, Core trained with the guards, and he better learned how to utilize magic. And apparently, they informed him about a yellow dragon sighting, um, which I totally missed. Sorkoven did some performances, got paid, I think it was 54 gold in tips. Um, Somebody earned the Martial Adept Protection feat, but I can't remember who it was.
That was core.
Nice. Mariella has kind of a not necessarily bribes Lav, not bribes Lav, but like tries to share information for information. I kind of got the sense that Lav didn't appreciate that, but I might be putting words in his mouth. Um, and Mariella continues revealing information to Lilavati. I'm sure y'all could do a lot more justice about the specific content of those conversations. But other than that, I think we just were hanging around Kinatra Village trying to figure out what we were going to do next. What have I missed out on, fellas?
I mean, that's definitely the gist of it. Is there any other details anyone would like to add in?
Yeah, did you mention Sorkoven getting a message from a certain someone?
Oh, that's right. I did get a letter from Quetzalcoatl, from Zilpali. Kind of. I mean, maybe we can read it again, but basically the gist was he wants a coatl scale for his daughter, and it kind of seemed like he was ordering me slash intimidating me to do it because he sort of threatened sharing her in a backhanded way if he didn't get it. Um, so yeah, and then Sorkovin is obviously going to respond to that letter. Um, but yeah, that's true. That also happened.
Alrighty. Um, yeah. Oh, one other thing I wanted to address was Eulawi and Neymar.
Hmm.
Um, did anybody want to do any particular interaction with them or talk to them about anything? Because otherwise, I mean, Neymar will explain that he wants to return to his home of Celeveral, although given the centuries that has passed, it's probably unlike when he was there before. Um, and Eowawi, I don't know, he doesn't say much, but seems to indicate that Juron is somewhere to the west, and seems intent on heading that direction. Um,
Okay, I would definitely want to talk to them
okay.
briefly. First, I would approach Neymar, and I'm guessing at this point he's come back to health and he's able to move about freely.
Yeah, a day of rest does wonders for him.
Okay.
And does anyone else want to be there for this conversation? All right. Uh, Mr. Coven, nice to see you again. How goes things?
Things are complicated, um, but I have hope for the future. I'm assuming you'll be on your way back to your home.
Yeah, that's my plan. Maybe I'll have a great great grandson waiting for me or something like that. But
Well, I wish you all the best, and I'm sure your home is different now, but at least it's somewhere you can go back to. At least there's more now to life than that temple at the bottom of the lake. Um, I hope I see you again one day. Maybe if my travels bring me to Celeveral, I'll try and find you.
that would be wonderful. Um, you see, I being locked down in that temple for so long, I assumed that there was nothing left for me. But now you've given me this new opportunity, and it must be Burstill's will that I'm free once more and my life has meaning again. So I don't know how much more time I'll have without a genie resurrecting me every day, but I'm looking to make the best of it.
Two things to that, good sir. One, you're very welcome. Um, it seemed to me the right thing to do. Two, um, I wanted to ask you a bit of a personal question because obviously, if there's one person who knows Yabasul the most, it would probably be you. If you could release that genie, that jinn, would you? Or should he stay imprisoned there? I just want the truth.
I I can tell what you're looking for here, Sir Coven. And when I first found myself imprisoned alongside a merit, I was just as eager as you are now to see what powers I could make use of. But the more time passed, the more I realized that Yabasul um, was just as restrained as I was, despite his vast power, and more so willing to do terrible things to me to try to escape. He he might be useful to someone like you. Just keep in mind that he will always have his own interests in heart.
Well, I think I'm guilty of that too, right? I mean, there's no beating around the bush. I did kill you to try and take advantage of the situation. Don't think I've forgotten about that. But that being said, I'm not sure. Not sure his use to me is what I'm really getting at here. I think he's very useful to me, assuming that he's truthful about what he'll do for me, but which I have doubts of. But I think the question more is, can he be trusted to be let free? I mean, do you know anything of that nature? Because as much as I want to take advantage of his use, as much as I'd like to just throw all care away, it's just something's holding me back. It's this weird feeling, like a conscience or something. I'm not sure.
Well, if you're looking for my opinion, the people of Celebral, at least in my time, founded the city with the purpose of protecting this realm from creatures beyond, especially those of the Ceaseless Sea, where most marriage reside. So my people have had challenges with these creatures before, and they're certainly not easy to deal with. They are vain, greedy, and see everything around them as tools to further their own ends. I had some friends who had been captured and taken to their lairs to serve as slaves. Um, and so, as far as I can tell, Yabasul is just like his kin. The less threats there are for the people of this realm to be concerned about in realms beyond, the better.
Thank you for your information, Neymar. Again, I wish you good luck on your travels. If you should need me, simply call for Sir Coven Teneas.
You're a good man. Uh, hope to see you soon. Farewell. And he'll grab his things and head out.
Okay, as far as Aoi is concerned, or AoE is concerned, I'd like to. I mean, I need to speak to whoever the captain of the guard is, or whoever is in charge of. Whoever's going to be in charge of looking after him until I can figure this situation out.
Um, Kohada is kind of the lead of the guard here in town. Um,
That sounds familiar.
yeah, so you
So
could
I want to approach her.
him,
Him.
and you managed to kind of find him while him and Core are taking a break from training together.
Okay.
So Core, as you're kind of sweating from heavy training, but then taking a nice glass of water, Sarkovan approaches you and Kohada.
Seems like you all are working very hard. I like what I see here. Good work. Good work. um, Koada, do you have a moment?
Sure, you just caught us on a break. But Core, try that move I just showed you 10 more times while I catch up with Sarkovan. Oh, you're muted, Liam.
Huh. All right. Oh, let's give it a go.
All right. So Kohada kind of steps aside with Sarkovan.
I wanted to talk to you about Aoi.
Oh, that slimy creature?
Yes, I know it's a bit of a burden to look after him, but I'm hoping that you'd be willing to do so. I do think that there's a chance we can save this man or woman. I'm not really sure.
I mean, whatever it is, it seems pretty intent on leaving town. Um, I mean, I've had a couple of my guards watching over it until we had some time to collect our thoughts and figure out what to do, but personally, I don't see any reason why we just don't just let this thing go.
Well, you see, I'm conflicted about this. A good friend of mine sort of made me have second thoughts about this. The way I see it is he could hurt someone or hurt himself. And as much as I hate to keep him imprisoned here, at least here I have some chance of saving him. Where, as before in that temple, I don't know if anyone, not even myself, would have ever come back. And from what I know of this Juron that he seeks out in the west, it's not good. So I don't think leaving him to his own devices is wise. Look, Koada, as a favor to me, if it is possible for Kinatra village, please keep him with water so he does not dry out, and ensure his safety. And if a time comes when truly it is not possible, or if something were to happen and you feel it right, I trust your judgment. You could free him if you wish, but there's just something about this that feels like it's important to me. I can't really describe it. What do you think?
Well, I'd be lying if I said I fully understood everything that happened here with the tree as well as down in the lake. You, you and your companions are more knowledgeable about strange creatures like this AoE. Um, after the threats we've dealt with here, I don't have a lot of men left, but I'll make sure to keep an eye on this fellow.
Thank you. Thank you. Rest assured, my goal is not to leave him here indefinitely. I do wish to seek out some way to cure him or sever the connection with Juron. Hmm. But again, thank you. I'll be on my way.
Alrighty, I hope you figure it out. All right, core, 3 laps around the yard.
I'll make it 10, and I just start running.
Nice. Alrighty. Oh, so one thing I wanted to point out. Last time we had issues with the shop thing. I found out that the module I was using for shops is no longer supported, so I got a new one. So now there should be icons on the Kanasha map that if you double click them, open up into shops that you can buy things from. So that's there if anyone needs it. There's also one in the far left, who's a courier. I think Core had asked about sending things places, and maybe Takara as well, but we can deal with that when Chris is back. So yeah, feel free to buy stuff from shops at your leisure. If you want to send a message or a package via the courier, um, let me know that now, and we can roleplay that out, I guess.
I'm looking through the shops right
Yeah.
now.
Go ahead.
I don't see any shops.
Okay, go to on the icons on the left side. There's one that looks like a bookmark,
Yes. Okay.
and then there's a button that appeared when you click the bookmark. That's like a pin. That's toggle notes display. If you turn that on, then it'll show the shops even if you go to a different tab.
Okay. Got it.
Yep. All right.
Core, since
Yeah.
you are managing my finances,
Yes.
could you subtract 10 gold? Actually, don't do that. I might have stuff already.
Just as a blanket statement to everyone else, after all of the gold was evenly distributed amongst all of us, from the undersea thing, each of you has 1,486 gold to spend.
Fuck.
1,086.
I'm gonna hold on. Let me type it in chat real quick.
I can just add that to my inventory. What's one less thing for you to manage?
Okay.
So you
I
said
mean, I don't mind keeping track of the money, to be honest with you. 1,486.
Okay, I will put that in my inventory.
Yeah, and that's just from the cave, so that's on top of it, whatever else you have.
Leon, did you keep track of how much, like, since I didn't take that full amount, do you remember how much I took?
Oh, I don't believe so. I don't believe so now.
You can take mine off out of your inventory. Thank you, Liam.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I know evenly distributed amongst all of us, it rounded to 1,486 each. So that's not like taking into account if anyone took more or less.
Well, we could just do the difference now, Kev.
Yeah, that works.
Whatever you would not have taken, you can just give back to Core.
I just don't remember how much I had personal beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, if y'all can't figure it out for sure, then we can just make a call based on what you think is most likely, and then basically just say that's what happened.
So I think something costs copper, and it says I can't afford it because I don't have physical copper.
Oh, okay.
I have to actually like do that math.
That's annoying, but
Is it just 10 to 10 to 10?
yep.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
What are y'all looking at buying?
I've purchased some parchment, some oil, some ink, a hooded lantern, a poisoner's kit, some glass bottles, and that's it.
Good question. Did we pick up Electrum at any point in time?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure whenever I've handed out money, I've always converted it to gold.
Okay. For some
I have
reason, my
one
inventory.
as well.
Yeah, it says I have two actually, so I'm not sure what that's about.
I could be wrong. Maybe like in the very first little dungeon, mini dungeon y'all went into, there was some. But
It also says I have 7,000 gold, which I don't think is right.
Wasn't that from your magic pouch? The the old lady.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if the amount that I'm seeing right now included the underwater castle or not.
I think
Is that
so. Um,
okay? Because that seems
I can
like a
double check.
lot.
So, I mean, it is a lot.
It'd be safe to assume that I had 100 gold before big ass treasure.
That sounds roughly correct. I think that's a good assumption. Um,
Okay. I will just do this now. Is 1486 Liam?
1486, yes.
All right, I'm immediately going.
okay, so the bag you received from the lady
Mm,
had 1,500 gold,
1500. Okay.
and then let me see. I don't think I think I archived some of the notes where I had the stuff from the temple.
Mhm. That was right before Kanatra, right?
Uh, like 2 or 3 sessions. It was on the way to Kanatra, but it was one of the first encounters after you left Utamanu.
Okay. Okay. Because I remember I bought stuff in Udamani before we left.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 7,000 doesn't seem right.
Well, if you put that might be all the money from the temple. Like if you had if everybody put their gold
Oh,
into
okay.
yours,
That would make
I think it's
sense.
around that much.
Okay, that makes sense. In that case, make sure. Go ahead and change that then to what it should be. Could be
So Chris, can I buy a masterwork armor piece?
Um, so the way that works is you pay the price of the type of armor you're buying plus however much it says for the masterwork armor. Um,
Okay.
that's at the. So what type of armor are you getting?
Studded leather armor.
Okay, so that
Masterwork.
is 45 gold. And then to get the masterwork version,
Can I
oh, it's
can I
not.
masterwork one I already have, or is it like a set?
Um, so you can sell items in your inventory by dragging it onto the shop. I think it does like half price. So you
Okay.
could do that. Sell the studded leather you have and then buy the masterwork studded leather. So it would be 1545 for the masterwork studded leather. Um, and then let me get you the actual item. Because if you just drag the masterwork armor into your inventory, it's not going to give it to you.
I'd like to sell it. Yes. Did that work? Oh, it's in the chat log.
All right, and I put the masterwork studded leather. Oh, okay, so I have to offer.
Chris, just so you're aware, I also bought a recipe for truth serum,
Cool,
white poppies, a drum, and I think that's it.
cool. So Kevin, I put the masterwork studded leather in your inventory, so you should be able to equip it, and it should automatically update your AC. But let me know if it doesn't.
And, yeah, it did. And do I need to does the shop need to get the money or just subtract it from my inventory?
Um,
If you drag and drop the item and then select OK, the gold should automatically be subtracted from your inventory. At least that's how it worked for me.
It's just because the item I get is a separate one then from the shop inventory.
oh, okay.
Uh,
I mean, if you just want to manually subtract it from your,
Calculator.
yeah.
Noted. I'm also gonna buy some potion recipes.
Nice. Okay, yeah, so that's how my alchemy system works for potion crafting. All the details are in there. Um, but let me know whenever y'all are ready to continue.
I think I'm gonna get a masterwork armor as well.
Nice. What kind are you getting?
I keep hearing something in the background. Does anyone else hear that?
Was it me talking? Because I.
No, it's like the sound of an playing in the background almost. That's the best way I would describe it. Oh, it's gone now.
Um. So what type of
Oh,
armor are you getting?
I'm thinking. Let's see.
So
I'm
there's not a
thinking.
a blacksmith here, and a blacksmith would have a lot of like the medium and heavy armor that might be better for you. But
Oh, I got you.
um, And the blacksmith will be able to sell masterwork versions. And there is one in Utamanu.
Oh, okay. It's in Hidamani. Okay. And
Yeah, like
I'd
here
probably
there's the shady dealer who just sells light armor.
okay. Let's see. So then nothing in Kanatra.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I would hold off until we got back to Hidamani.
Okay.
I will be. There it is again. Does no one else hear anything? Oh, wait a second. Oh, I figured it out. Okay, sorry about that. I would be sending some sort of a parcel though.
Okay. What are you sending?
Pull up my inventory real quick. I would be sending. Okay. I would be sending 2 de-rising alloys. I would want to ship my regular longsword, my hand axe, and then let's see. Make sure I'm doing this math correctly. Okay, it would be the hand axe, the longsword, and then 1,000 of my gold to the rising alloys.
Alrighty. So yes, the rising allies are not too close to here, so that'll be a 150 gold delivery fee. But that'll ensure that all your stuff gets to its destination, no problem.
I'll do it.
Cool. So mark off 1,150 gold, and then I got a note that that is on its way. It'll probably be like
Okay.
a week or two before it arrives, and then another week or two before you hear any sort of response. But
Okay. All right. Noted.
go ahead.
I've been I purchased parchment as well and ink and etc. And I wrote up a letter to one of my teachers at Estens. I wanted to, along with a small parcel, to give it to Sirius to have sent out. And it's a long journey, but
It's so Sirius is going to be delivering that?
yes, if
Okay.
possible.
Yeah. So I mean, you won't have access to Sirius but you don't need to worry about paying any fee or trusting it in someone else's hands. So.
Right. Yeah, I trust Sirius, and I know that she'll be okay.
Okay.
All right, and I typed the letter out. You want me to put in the chat log or send it to you?
I mean, if there's anything Lav would want to keep private, no need. But even if he's not like explicitly telling the other party members, if it's nothing private or personal, then feel free to drop it in the chat log. Otherwise, you can send it to me directly, whatever you prefer.
Oh wow, it's playing the whole thing. I'll just send it to you as well. Just it's not a big deal, but just so it's there.
Okay.
And along with this, I'm gonna send some coal.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, so Sirius, under your direction, takes the letter and package and flies off into the bright blue sky.
Cool. Thanks.
Um, anyone else got anything they want to do with the shops or stuff like that?
I don't have anything to do with the shops, but would now be a good time to explain the letter that I sent back with Quetzalcoatl.
Yes, go ahead.
So, as you all remember, Quetzalcoatl gave me a letter that basically, y'all heard in the backstory. I wrote a letter. I'm just going to read it really quick. I sent it to Chris already. I say, my friend Zelpali, please understand that I too wish no ill will against you nor your people, for it is of utmost importance that I preserve life wherever possible, even in those that I do not fully understand or have wronged me. Only those who are truly adversaries to life and those who seek the certainty of death are foes of mine. I do believe you fit neither of these. If you wish to possess a coatl scale, please understand their scarcity. I have reason to believe that the people of Sharon are struggling to obtain them also. Zopali, I must ask you, why not combine our wits and powers so that we may reach this goal together? If you truly care for your daughter as much as you say you do, wouldn't you do anything to help her? Please, meet me near the village of Kinatras so that we may discuss this further. Until then, know that I seek a coatl scale for you. So long as Sharoner and innocence remain safe from you and your people, the scale will be yours. With love, Sorkovan Taneas. P.S. Say hi for Talalak for me.
Nice. All right, and as soon as you hand that letter to Quetzalcoatl, he immediately flies off into the sky. Seems to be a pretty well-trained little flying snake. All right. So the day goes by, and the next morning, um, you're all probably in the common area of the inn enjoying some breakfast after another restful night when you hear a scream come from the entrance of the village. You quickly gather your things and head in that direction, where you see sort of a crowd of people gathered around an interesting creature. Um, it stands nearly 12 feet tall with all these tentacles, claws, and but in two of its tentacles are holding the seemingly unconscious form of this individual. Um, a female red-scaled kobold, and standing next to this creature, trying to calm down the people screaming and shouting, is this woman. Um, the creature's just standing there, holding the kobold, and this woman is just shouting out, "Please, this kobold needs help. She's starved, almost dead." What do you do?
I rush up to the large, scary creature.
It kind of looks down towards you.
I hold my hands up to try and take the kobold.
The creature looks towards the woman, and she nods to it, and it hands the kobold towards you. Um, Although the kobold is pretty small, it's or she's heavier than she looks. But you're able to take her.
Core, please. Core, I need your help. I can barely carry this thing.
Yep, I rush up. I take the creature.
So the sea creature thing listened to this woman.
It seemed to do so.
Gotcha.
and then she turned as she says to you, "Is there a inn somewhere with food you can take her to?" Um, she seems to just have collapsed from exhaustion, but also you can see her ribs, so she clearly hasn't eaten in some time.
I know just the place, and I head towards the inn.
Okay.
I will
And
follow.
the woman turns to the large creature and says, "Uh, okay, handsome, you can head back into the jungle. Stop stressing all these people out." And she kind of laughs. And the creature kind of turns and heads back into the trees. Um, all the townsfolk seem kind of concerned, but now that things have calmed down a bit, and seems a bit more under control, a few stick around to just watch what's happening, but a lot of them go back into the town to their daily business.
Hail,
Uh,
speak to the woman.
hello. Um,
Hello. From where do you hail?
um, my name's Huata. I am of the regeneration. I
You
traveled.
are you are of the regeneration.
Make a history check. Yeah, it's not too difficult of a check. The regeneration is one of the four cults that is sort of the government of Ethax, the nation to the south and east of here. Um,
All the way from FX. Brings you here.
I do my work in and around the jungles and sometimes come here to Kanatra for supplies. And she kind of glances towards the trees and says, typically I keep Handsome far away from townsfolk, but given what happened with this kobold, I assumed it was a bit of an emergency. Um,
Would you like to join us at the inn? We can discuss further.
yes, I was hoping to do exactly that. And she kind of heads past you and following Sir Coven. So you make your way back to the Bright Bottle Inn. Um, what do you do when you arrive, Sir Coven and Core?
Quickly, quickly, we need nourishment. Help for this kobold woman.
Um, Yashoda, the barkeep, comes up and he says, kind of glances over and says, hmm, yeah, she's definitely uh, been through a lot. Um, I'll get some soup together. That should restore her energy. And he runs back to the kitchen area.
You sure to please add it to my tab. Thank you, darling.
Uh, you see just like a thumbs up stick through the doorway. Um, so let's see. Huata, Elav, and Lilavati enter. Um, and she says, "How's she doing?"
Waiting on nourishment. Doesn't look good though.
I'm sure she'll be fine. How did you two meet?
I
Come,
was,
let's
uh,
sit.
yeah. So you all kind of gather on the table, pull up a few chairs. She says, "Well, Handsome and I were traveling through the jungle, making our way here when we found her collapsed, maybe 20-minute walk outside of town, not more than 30 minutes ago or so. Um,
Must have been very frightening.
I mean, given how close we were to the village, I figured I had a chance to get here in time before things got worse. It didn't look like anything physical had happened to her, as far as I could tell. But I'm certainly no doctor.
She's in good hands here. The people of Kanatra are made of sturdy stuff. Where's Wolvati? Just a question.
At the table.
Oh, you're here with us? Okay, just make sure.
I was gonna look at the kobold to see how they're doing.
Make a medicine check. Yeah, no visible signs of injury. You can confirm that, as Huata said, the kobold seems pretty severely malnourished. Um,
Can I get the spelling on that, good sir?
yeah. Actually, I can add it to, let's see. Do this right. Oh, wait. Hold on. There it is. All right, so if you go to the actors tab, you should see a folder for the regeneration, and Huata is in there. And then,
Sweet.
okay, but you haven't met you don't know the kobold's name. Okay. Um, so yeah. Huata says, yeah, no, Kanatra's a great place, but it seems like there's less people around than there normally are.
We had a run-in with an ancient water creature that was planned, that was um, eating people, and we destroyed it.
What
This is
sort
all true.
what sort of creature?
It was a creature under the sea.
In the lake?
Um, Sea, lake, same. The water, yes.
She seems
It was the lake, not the sea. It was the lake of Abrushin.
she kind of furrows her brow and seems confused but thoughtful for a minute. She says, might have to go look into that later. At this point, Yashoda comes out with a bowl of soup, with kind of steam rising off of it, and he rushes, but being careful not to spill it, towards the kobold and kind of gently opens her mouth and pours some in. Um, she kind of, the kobold coughs at first, but then she kind of swallows some of it. Um, and uh, Core, being used to scaled creatures, can tell that some of the color has returned to her scales, although that might not be as obvious to the others. Um, and Yashoda kind of puts a hand on her forehead and says, that should help her out. But I think what she needs right now is some rest. If you could bring her up to, we have a spare room, um, and maybe she'll wake up by the morning, and we can find out what happened to her.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Uh,
I'll take her up to the room.
okay. Yeah, you bring her in, and Yashoda has bed all set and kind of tuck her and make her comfortable, and then head back down.
Yeah. Before I leave her, do I if I look at like the outfit she's wearing or anything she might have on her, do I notice any like symbols or any indication of who she is or where she came from?
Make a investigation check. All right, so a couple things. She has um, sort of a small like satchel, and just with a quick peek inside, you notice that she has all sorts of cooking utensils, a few spices, things of that sort, pots, pans, but not just like things that someone might carry, but like the tools of a chef or like someone who prepares food for a living. Um, Not just tools that you would have as a traveler to prepare for yourself. Um, but also her clothing, she has sort of like a leather jacket sort of that's light, comfortable, but you can tell also is built for somewhat warding off attacks. Um, and piecing these things together, you can tell that she is a most likely at some point, or is wearing the garbs and has the equipment of someone who might be sort of like a cook for an army.
Alrighty.
Um, so you head back down now, or is there anything else you want to check out?
Um, that's all. You know what? I will. What I'll do is I'll just let me see what do I want to do here. I'll take out just like a sheet of like parchment,
Mm-hmm.
and as I close the door, I'm just gonna stick it in that door as I close it, so that it's not really visible, but like I would know if it was there or not.
Okay. So like if someone were to open the door, the parchment would like fall and you would. Gotcha.
Precisely. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you head back down.
Before Core does, could I have said something at the table?
Sure.
Um, doesn't Core um, not vibe with Chromatic Dragonkin? Or am I making that up?
Certain for sure, but
You're not. You're not there.
oh, okay.
No offense.
No.
Uh,
Although I do want to hear that answer from you too.
Maybe he's had a change of heart.
I don't know about that. Been through a lot.
a voice comes from a table on the other side of the inn, and you realize Mariella has been watching you this whole time, and she says, I haven't had the chance to talk to Cora much, but as a metallic dragon, he likely serves the arising alloys who have been fighting against the chromatic dragons for generations now.
Thanks, Webster.
But just because he is an enemy to the chromatic dragons, the chromatic dragons in this place that I definitely know what the name is, but I just can't remember it right now.
Brunthul is that nation.
Runthul.
Yeah.
See, I thought it was on the.
It's in the top left corner. Is the nation names and icons of the world map.
Oh.
Yeah.
Duh. Okay. Just because he's an enemy to the chromatic dragons of Runthul does not mean necessarily that he's an enemy to this kobold, right?
Would I know if kobolds inherently serve higher dragons?
Um, history check. Um, yeah. So, both Dragonborn and kobolds, at least the chromatic ones, are typically slaves of dragons. Um, and also like most of the people of Runethul are either dragonborn or kobolds. And almost all of them live subjugated under some dragon king or queen. And the scale color is indicative of the color of dragon that is considered their owner. Um, so
Question: could I have tried to gauge the this woman's like honesty when she said that she just met this creature on the road?
make an insight check.
Because I think it would have like kind of been, I don't know. I don't think I would have disbelieved it, but um,
I mean, she seemed pretty honest, and like she definitely had a sense of concern that seemed pretty genuine. And there's a sense of relief as she her shoulders are more relaxed. She got a drink from the bartender and is seems a little bit more comfortable than the frantic looking around and shouting that she was doing earlier. Um,
oh hi, Core.
yeah, course back.
Kobolds should be safe for now.
DM question.
Mhm.
Not to interrupt again, but I have to. The creatures that were across the lake, were those dragonborn or something else?
Uh, there were Sirius saw red scale dragonborn and kobolds across the lake. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and bring that up now. Um, just a reminder. Uh, before we dove into the lake, Sirius did see a group of ravenous-looking, destructive, red scale dragonborn and kobolds. They were just making fires. Might behoove us to check that out. This could be an ill omen, the appearance of this creature.
Um,
To be, to be honest, love, I'm getting an inkling of a suspicion that this kobold might be a part of that group. Based on the way she was dressed and what she was carrying, she seemed to be almost prepared for some form of combat, though she didn't seem like a warrior, almost like a chef or a cook for the group.
I wonder what happened to her. Was she attacked or maybe she got lost?
Huata says, well, there's all sorts of dangerous creatures in the jungle. Um, maybe she ran into something and then outran it and lost its scent. Maybe it
It
found some more
se-
enticing prey.
it seems odd that a chef would be so malnourished as she was.
But you said you saw more dragonborn across the lake. It's
Indeed.
not often you see such a sizable number of chromatic dragonborn and kobolds in Sharener. My nation has been fighting off invasions from the red dragonborn for centuries now. They attack periodically, but Now, I've been away from there for some time, so I'm not sure the current state of those affairs. It's typically
Forgive me. Oh,
it's
sorry, continue.
it's typically Titan's Reach that deals with FX's military efforts.
Forgive me. For I hope I don't sound like I'm overstepping, but what would make you want to save such a creature who
Um,
who might as well have been part of the people who attacked your home?
I mean, given her state, I mean, when I came across her, like, couldn't just leave someone out there like that, you know?
Right. It speaks to your character.
Thank you. All right, well, I have some shopping to do. Need to pick up some supplies. And Handsome gets worried if I'm away from him for too long. So, but I'll definitely be back soon to check on our friend. And Huata heads out. Um, Anything else y'all want to do right now? Or just wait until she wakes up?
Um, I want to search my own knowledge. I'm kind of forgetting the intricacies of the four cults and how they relate to one another in NFX. I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember if they're adversarial to one another or if they sort of all rule FX together.
So I won't have you roll for this because Storkovan would be very kind of familiar with this. So the four cults have their own goals and desires, and that's what most of their effort is spent towards. And the people of FX are happy to have a government that doesn't really bother too much with their day-to-day affairs. FX is very lax when it comes to laws and regulations because the cults just don't really care about that too much. However, they do provide certain roles for the nations. As she mentioned, Titans Reach, one of the cults, sort of organizes the military effort mostly for defending from the Dragonborn attacks from the north, um, as well as dealing with like piracy and other things of that sort. Her organization, the Regeneration, is just kind of in charge of like providing food and other like resources and medicine and things like that for the nation. Then there's the silent speakers who kind of act as sort of a police force when necessary, but also they are sort of like a diplomacy spat slash espionage group. Um, and then I have it written down somewhere, but I forgot exactly what the Fallen Phoenix do for the nation.
Okay, so
But
they're
I'll let you know
not.
when I find.
It's not like they're fighting for votes or something. They're just the de facto leaders, and they
Yeah,
all have their
they
own responsibilities.
and they're very much like they try to stay out of each other's way as much as possible. And there are times when they have gotten into conflict with each other. They've probably gotten into conflict more than they've done like direct cooperative work. Um, but again, it's that kind of feeling of like everybody lets everyone else do everyone else's thing, and we don't worry about what other people are doing, and they won't, so that they won't worry about us, kind of thing.
I understand.
But yeah, there definitely have been minor conflicts here and there in the past.
Okay. I don't say anything.
Okay. Um, Yeah. So, all right. So that day kind of goes by uneventfully. Um, and the next morning, um, you kind of get up from your beds in the inn and gather for breakfast and such. And then you see a small figure wander down the stairs. It seems that the kobold has woken up, and she kind of like groggily steps down one step at a time, looking at her feet. And then when she gets to the bottom of the staircase, she kind of looks up and sees all of you, Yashoda, um, Mariella. Huata's not there. She spent the night out in the jungle, and several like townspeople there getting food. And the kobold just goes, "Eh!" and turns and runs up the stairs.
Uh, I think we should probably debrief her.
I'll head up.
Okay. So Corey, you make your way up. Um, you so there's sort of like a hallway on the second floor with the rooms on each side. Um, there's no immediate sign of her, but you do see your little piece of paper on the ground.
Just gonna slowly open the door and just take a peek, see if I see her.
Um, she is holding a kind of large knife and it is in the corner of the room and holding out towards you and says, "Who are you? Where am I? Where did you take me?"
Calm yourself, small one. No one's going to hurt you here.
Make a persuasion check. She slowly lowers the knife in reaction to kind of your tone of voice, and she says, "You're a, are you one of those alloys? Am I being held
Like,
prisoner?"
prisoner, you say? By who?
You, I guess. All the alloys are wild fanatics.
I was afraid of this. I just sort of walk in a little more and just close the door.
She holds up the knife
Who's
again.
okay. I'm not going to hurt you. Who sent you?
Uh, she kind of like glances around and says, "I'm not going to tell you anything."
Based on her responses, am I getting the sense that she's genuinely believing what she said?
Roll insight. um, she's very frantic. Hard to tell uh, what's going through her head, and I mean, you know nothing about her or where she's from or why she might be saying the things she is.
Listen to me. I don't know what they've told you or who they even are, though I have an inkling of a suspicion. I need you to understand that I know what you've been through. I need you to understand that no matter what they told you, you can trust me. Not as an alloy, but as a fellow Dragon King.
Make a persuasion check with advantage. Nice. She stares you in the eye, and just as you think she's about to like lunge towards you with the knife, she drops her arms and drops the knife to the ground. And she says, all right, well, fine. Just tell me where am I?
You're in a town called Kinatra. You were found passed out in the jungle. We brought you here, and we've been looking after you.
This one of the jungle people's towns?
I suppose you could say that, yes.
Then why are you staying here? They're dangerous. They'll kill us. All those people down there.
Well, I'm certainly not dead yet, aren't I? No, they're nice. At least after a couple of those instances from outside sources, of course. But believe me, it won't hurt you.
I mean, that's not what happened at Al Hadan. But and she kind of looks down. I mean, I'm alive too, I guess. How did you convince them to trust you?
Vince, why? We just acted like normal. I mean, it's not like everyone's out to get you.
Um, not with bronze scales, I suppose. Listen, there's even if these people aren't gonna hurt you, we gotta get far away from Al Hadan because it's not just the jungle people that are killing Dragonkin there. There's a great big black dragon that only attacks at night, and it's terrifying.
Black Dragon?
Yes,
Do you know its name?
no, but I saw it the other night, last night, no, 2 nights ago. I'm not sure, but it was chasing me, and it chased me through the jungle, and it was hunting me, and I don't know how I ended up here, but that's the last thing I remember.
This is troubling indeed. Come with me, won't you? My friends would want to hear of this as well. Any danger out there is a danger to these people too. And I should protect them. My duty, after all. My obligation. Now come, won't you?
She
Just sort of take out my hand.
takes her hand, and she says, what's your name, friend?
It's Core.
Kor?
And yours?
I'm Frara.
Traro.
She's in, if you look under Shariner, there's a new folder called Al Hadan with Frara in it. So the rest of you, while you're waiting, Huata arrives and says, any update with the kobold?
Well, she woke up, so I guess that's good
Oh,
news. She's upstairs.
And your friend Cora went to go. Okay. So she sits down at the table and waits. And a few minutes later, Core and Frara descend. Um, Frara nervously walks towards the table, but eventually takes a seat. And Yashoda comes up and says, "Glad to see you're awake. Could I get you anything?" Um, and she says, "Just some bread and water would be fine." And Yashoda procures that for her. Um, she just eats the bread ravenously. Downs the water in a single gulp. And once she's done eating, she kind of looks surprised and then kind of looks up at everyone and shrinks into her chair a little bit.
Farara had mentioned to me that she was apparently chased by some sort of black dragon. That's how she wound up passed out in the middle of the forest.
She says, it was huge. It was terrifying. And it only came out at night. The dragon, it was chasing after everybody in town. Nobody was safe.
And what town was this?
She looks kind of nervously around and says, "Oh, well, okay. Um, you see, I was with a group of dragonkin, and then she looks kind of towards you, Core, and then looks down at her plate, and then looks up at the everyone around, and says, we were part of the Bloodstar's army, and we were sent on an assault on Tuari. Um, but uh, the lieutenant of my battalion, Lieutenant Ai, uh, she had been planning for some time to desert the army. And so our entire battalion fled just before the battle into the jungle where we knew they wouldn't follow us. We came to we found this big lake, and so we started trying to, you know, find food, put together some shelter. Um, but then that's when the jungle people started attacking us. And even then, every day we were afraid that more of the army would come, punish us for what we had done, take us back to Kulan, strap us in chains. And before long, the Black Dragon arrived and attacked us. I swear it must have burned the whole place down. I don't know if anyone else is alive, but I somehow made it out. Um, yeah.
Does it seem like she's withholding something?
Make an insight check. Um, this is a lot of information coming all at once. And also, you've not dealt with kobolds much before, so reading their facial reactions is difficult for you.
Well, I know it's not my place, but if you want my 2 copper about it, I believe everything you've said. You speak from the heart. If there's anything that we can do, as long as you've turned from your ways, we'll do it.
What do you mean turn from my ways? I'm just a
Well,
cook.
attacking innocent villages.
Oh
For
no,
one.
I'm just a cook. I mean,
Well,
I had some basic training, but I've never been in combat myself.
uh, um, you were supporting individuals
I
who
was
were going to
feeding,
attack an innocent village.
I was keeping
What's the
people from
difference?
starving and feeding the
But
others
you,
who were
in doing so, supported them.
and helped them escape the forced combat situations we were put into, so that we wouldn't have to do any more killing. I don't. You're not from around here, but
Oh, I am. Are you?
I suppose not. But the dragons are the ones that force us to do the fighting.
Right.
Well, isn't that why you all went AWOL? Why did you abandon the assault in the first place?
So we could get away from the Blood Star and those who served under her.
So then you agree that supporting them was wrong. Why are you so hesitant to admit that?
Because our people have been attacking Ethax and Sharoner for so long. I was afraid that if you found out that I had been a part of the army, you would just kill me on sight, and I'm honestly surprised you haven't.
You mentioned the blood
Still time.
stars. You're speaking of
Sure.
R&R, aren't you?
Yes. I mean, I've never met her myself, but all the orders come down from her through the chain of command, and they say it was she who ordered the assault on Tuari.
Good that you got out when you did. Any longer and I'm glad you're here.
I just hope that some of the others were able to survive that black dragon. I don't know what's left of the little village we were trying to put together, but this jungle is a scary place.
So, this dragon was near Tuari.
I mean, it might have come from that direction, but
Are,
it attacked
are
us in
you
the
aware
jungle.
if they're okay? There's people there? I know you didn't make your assault.
I have no idea. We fled just as we first caught sight of the city, and haven't heard from any of the main army since we deserted.
That was going to be my question. You were just a small battalion of a greater army. So
Yes,
presumably the greater portion of the army did assault Tuhar.
I suppose so. We've just been
Surprising.
so concerned with keeping ourselves safe.
And who did you say your commander was? The person whose idea it was to desert? The Blood Star?
Uh, Lieutenant Ai, AYI is her name.
Do I know this IE?
Make a history check.
LYI?
Or sorry, AYI.
A.
Um, you don't recognize the name, Core. Um, but it's been some time since you were in a position where you could find out about the specific members of the army.
I'm unfamiliar with the name. Must be a recent chain of command.
What are your thoughts, Core?
The Blood Stars involved, it can't be good. They're ruthless. The thought of them.
Do you think we can... I don't want to speak for anyone else, but... as far as I'm aware, these people of Tuari haven't done anything to deserve this. Do you think that they... Do you think we can take them? I don't want to speak for any of you, but...
Take on the army? The Black Star Army?
Not the army per se, but... This is a joke question.
Mhm.
Isn't there like a singular individual as well that was mentioned?
So the only person, the Blood Star, was mentioned,
Right.
who is sort of like, the Blood Star is the Dragon Queen of Krulon, and she's
So
like,
she wouldn't be here.
you're not sure. She might be, might not.
But that's who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Naively, Joe knows the answer, but that's so. This Blood Star, how powerful are they? I mean, we've destroyed this underwater demon creature.
One of the Dragon Queen's love. There's no take her. Not right now.
Damn. There must be something to be done to help these people of Tuari, no?
Huata speaks up and says, well, I'm fairly certain Tuari is not far from the stronghold of Titan's Reach, a place called Ironheart Sanctum, and they have a pretty strong force used to defend FX from these sorts of attacks. They've probably been helping defend it. If you wanted to get involved, you might want to speak with them. But
I don't want to get involved, but I'm of the mind. They take Tuari, what's to stop them from extending their reach to Bidzil or Udamanu? They won't reach Udamanu if there's anything that I can do about it.
Huata says, well, I mean, the constant battles with the Dragonkin is nothing new, but that doesn't mean it's something that can't be solved eventually. So, I mean, Tuari has dealt with their attacks often, but then um, Farah speaks up and says, no, but you don't understand with this one. This was one of the largest assaults they've done on Tuari. There was a whole group of sorcerers working on some sort of strange magic to augment the assault. We we knew we had to get out because if this turned out to be a grand victory for the Bloodstar, well, then the campaign would never cease. But
Kind of magic.
I mean, I I don't know. I never heard any of the details. Um, I hear a lot of chatter from the soldiers, but I serve the regular troops, not the sorcerers. But listen, Tuari, they're used to this kind of thing. They can defend themselves. I'm still worried about the rest of my battalion and being assaulted by the dragon on one side and the jungle people on the other. I mean, they were trying to build their own little village here in the jungle, but I don't think that's gonna play out. I just hope enough of them can get away from Al Hadan before things really take a turn for the worse.
We should help them.
Aye.
You would do that for us?
At what you've kind of been through. It's something that would break most people. The least we can do is this. Kind of smile warmly at her.
She smiles back, matching your toothy grin filled with fangs. And she says, I appreciate it, and you folks certainly look tough, but what are you gonna do against the army of jungle people? And Yashoda kind of wanders by and says, I can't help but been overhearing, and I mean, Shariner is certainly not the most welcome place to most outsiders, especially Dragonkin. So, seems like the Deepwood Wardens got involved once they found out about your folk there. And at that moment, the door swings open, and there's a person there, just someone from town, and he says, Yashoda, the Deepwood Wardens are here. They want to speak with everyone in town. Um, and Yashoda seems kind of surprised and says, "Well, I better go see what's going on." And he heads out of the inn. And then the fellow, as Yashoda approaches this person, the guy says, "Yeah, there's one of the druids from the Circle of the Moon is kind of leading the charge here.
At that, I instantly get up and go upstairs.
Okay. And so Yashoda passes through the door, and as you're heading towards the stairs, Lil Vati, the guy turns back and says, "Hey, they were pretty insistent on seeing everyone in town. Um, y'all might want to be there, or else they might not be too happy about it. You don't want to get the wardens on your bad side."
Hey. And I'm kind of like being feisty with him.
Uh-huh.
Let her go about her business. She'll be down when she's ready.
All right. Well, have it your way. And he heads out, leaving Mariella and Huata will head out as well. Well, Huata will probably wait for a bit, but Mariella will say, "I'm curious to see what's going on." Um, and Farah says, "Wait, the Deepwood Wardens are that's like, I mean, most of you will probably know that's sort of like the military of Shariner. Um, and she says, "That's those jungle people. If they find me, they'll kill me." And she like ducks under the table.
Not gonna let that happen. Perhaps it'd be best if you stayed here. You've only just got here. They wouldn't be expecting you.
As a note to anyone paying attention, Lilavati's face would have dropped at the hearing of the Circle of the Moon, and like just pure fear over her face.
I would have tried to notice.
Yeah, I think it might have been obvious enough, given how well
Obvious.
we all know
Okay.
each other.
Okay.
What are the rest of y'all doing?
I want to crouch under the table. Say, I'm no stranger to slavery myself. As long as I draw breath, I will make sure that no one else will lay a finger on you again for what you have been forced to do.
Roll persuasion with advantage. She says, alrighty. I'll stay here. Please, don't let them find me.
Listen, it may be better if you come with me. Let's
Come.
go upstairs for a moment.
Okay. And she follows you.
I want to knock on Olivati's door. And I turn to the kobold. I say, remain here if you will. But for a moment.
She nods.
I meant upstairs, but outside.
Yeah. So she'll stay in the hallway.
Olivati, it's me, love.
The door would open, and a different face would greet you. This would be me as Rilla opening the door.
Have you seen the? Oh, right. You're good. Listen, this disguise is good and all, but I may be able to make you disappear from sight. If you
Also
wish
do
it.
that, love. If it comes to it, I'll ask for more help.
Very well. I'm going to cast it on this creature here. What's the creature's name?
Frara.
Frara. Frara Rocher.
I quit.
Going to cast it on Frara here. Anyway, so I figured I'd extend the offer. So
I would have also gone up to see Lilavati.
Okay.
I'm not sure at what point in this interaction I was there, but
So Kevin, come with us. Let's go upstairs.
okay. At some point, I would have said,
Not you, Cor. Stay down here. Just kidding.
Kev, can you type the name of your alias? It's just Rilla?
Rilla, yeah.
Rilla. I'm gonna write it so that I remember that. Okay. Rilla. You're not going to be able to keep this a secret from me for too much longer. This is far too interesting. But I won't butt in anymore. Just thought I might add that, a little spice to this interaction. Now, shall we go to the Deepwood Warden?
If I could escape the village right now, I would do it. But those damn druids at the Circle of the Moon are very persistent.
and very powerful. It may draw more suspicion to you if you try to run away, although perhaps they could see through your little get up here.
The only thing I have, and it's what I'll use.
It's up to you.
I have no intentions of running right now. They've made me done enough of that.
Okay.
Now, Frera, I bend down. If you'd like, I could turn you invisible. And you could come with us, if that would make you feel better. Or we can come clean and tell them what happened.
I mean, I don't think telling them that I'm here would be a good idea, but I'd rather be with you and invisible than anywhere else.
I place a hand on her shoulder and cast invisibility. And immediately after, I cast Mage Hand. And I'm not trying to frighten her, but my Mage Hand is holding her hand.
She appreciates that. And you can't see it, but you sense there's a smile there. All right, so y'all head down and then out of the inn towards kind of the main square of the village where it seems like most of the people are gathered. Alrighty. So when you arrive, even more so than when Huata and Farah shown up, you can tell now that basically the entire village has all kind of gathered here. And it does remind you of the fact that there were a lot of people lost to the Vothtalk creature. Given the size of this village, the number of buildings, there are fewer people here. But that number is matched, if not beaten, by the new arrivals here. You see probably 60 or 70 people of various races, genders, and ages who are all equipped with armor, weapons, um, magical implements, druidic robes. This seems like a pretty sizable military force, but in the fashion of Sharoner. You see druids, you see rangers, you see several animals that are servants, companions to some of the members in this force. There's wolves, giant boars, eagles, and then a few sort of plant creatures. And standing on sort of uh, what seems to be a merchant's kind of stall that was pushed in the center. Standing on it, you see this older human gentleman. And he's kind of barking orders to different people. But then he kind of like claps his hands and then raises up his staff, and there's a green flash of light from it. And all the talking and muttering quiets down. And he says to the crowd, "People of Kanatra, I come bearing grave tidings. A battalion of red dragonkin have invaded our jungle. My hunting pack here have fought against them, but we have lost many. We have many wounded." And at this, you notice that several of the sort of military people have lots of burn marks, cuts from weapons and claws, and definitely have taken some damage. And he says, "We've fallen back for the time being. My wounded will remain here to recover. but we need more on our side. I'm asking every able-bodied man and woman who can draw a sword, shoot a bow, or cast some magic to come and defend our home from these invaders. Please. The I My name is Shyrus. I am the direct report to Rallis, Archdruid of the Moon, and he has ordered me to defend our home while the Xylus Council has left on important business. They will be back soon, but we need to protect this home for when they return. And you see, Kahota shouts out, Cyrus, I will help you, but we have recently been attacked by some strange creatures, and many of my guards here have been lost. If we give you the people you ask, this village will be all but defenseless. And Shira says, we won't have a village to return to if we don't stop these Dragonborn. um, please, I need as many as you as possible. And there's some muttering among the crowd. Um, and he says, the Deepwood Wardens have ever protected your home, and now we need your help. And he says, any who are willing, come speak to my quartermaster. And he gestures to like kind of a woman with a book and pen, um, as he steps down and begins talking to some of the military folks. Um, and then just as he begins to step down, he stops and he kind of lifts his head up in the air and starts like, you see his nose kind of twitching as he's like, as if sniffing something out. And then he turns and looks directly towards Lilavati. And we're going to take a 10-15 minute break.
Uh-oh. Can you drop those names for me,
Oh,
please?
yeah. All right, so Sharis is in the Sharoner folder, Deepwood Wardens. I think that was the only new name.
Sharis is under someone else.
Rallis.
Oh, Rouse, yeah.
Colors.
Sure. Rallis is in the Xylus Council folder. All right, and I'll be back in a bit.
The next recap is going to be fire. Just saying. All right. I'll be right back. I love you both very dearly, very tenderly, very deeply, fully.
Making it weird.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Oh, we got some plot. Be right back.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he's like, yeah, my hair's actually like your hair's too short to like have a man bun. And he was like, oh yeah, like it's my, my friend Amanda gave it to me. She's like, whenever I like, pick my skin or whatever, she gave me this so I could do this instead. And Kara was like, oh yeah, I noticed because I took pictures of you rock climbing yesterday. Apparently sent them to her, and she like zoom in on her wrist, and she saw it, the hair tie.
That's like awkward, but also probably not know. But I think like different people are going to be nervous about that in different ways. But I think actually nobody's going to make a big deal.
Like okay, like imagine the equivalent of like if I went to a guy's house, right? And like I know that he lives by himself, sort of thing. And I go in and there's just like, like a bobby pin randomly in the house. It's like I know this isn't news. This has to be police. What is this doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I saw a challenge that was like, interrogate your man on like whose scrunchie is this? This isn't my scrunchie.
You're not Lisa. I said like.
Who is she?
Oh, she caught it.
Can I even say anything about me in general? I mean, like better. Because I'm just like not knowing what's going on is like stressing me out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just like I don't even know if I like should tell him like why I want to wait.
You better bring that back.
No, I shouldn't. But she's like, oh, I'll wait. Whatever, we'll see. Have a holiday or something. Like, make sure I'm gonna treat me that well. Or you don't treat me that well in general. And I feel like it's, I don't really have time to talk to you about it. So like, you're not really getting any better. And it's like, just because like yours only gonna get worse. And I'm in the process of like trying to accept that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like not ready to like look at her. It's like I know 100% it's not her fault.
Or if you like rated like this is the thing that you're working on for yourself, and you just need more time to work on it.
Right, but he's obviously going to interpret it as this is his fault because of this.
I mean, I guess it's like try to play it off with normal excuses as long as you can, or try to.
I mean, you could do like any excuses.
Or spend more time trying to mentally prepare yourself so you can be ready for it sooner. Because like it's going to happen one day. With my thing.
I don't know. I lost.
Man.
Why did you kill me?
Because it's so cute.
It's but I mean, like, I feel like it's like, because I kept trying to think, like, is this just me being jealous? Or am I paranoid? And it's like,
I think it's both.
yeah, no, I definitely think there's like some jealousy in there. But it's also like, if I was Bailey, if I was Natalie, like, he shouldn't be starting to like lessen, you know, like cutting back on their friendship. Even though it's like she's not replacing them. Like she's not replacing me at all. Because they're not talking on the phone or anything. It's just, he's getting that female attention.
Yeah.
And I've gotta talk to her. If I see anything, I'll say her. She's eating munchies. Like, bro, I can't even like listen to driver's license and I'm fucking sad. That's like one of my favorite songs. It's like, you always make me doubt. She's so much older than me. She's everything I'm insecure about. It's like, I can't drive past the places. Wait, can't drive past the places. Like, that's true. Whenever I see the Waffle House one, I get sad.
That's what we get for listening to sad songs. That one they actually relate it just makes me sad.
But it's driver's license, one of my favorite songs. Red lights. Like, come on. Because he's like, you're just like go talk, to the appointment. The doctor's gonna be like, get over it.
I mean, it really.
I don't know. I don't know if she's gonna be like, take your time, if you need time, whatever. But he's also gonna just like need to get over it at some point.
I mean, there's not going to be like any advice that fixes this for you or like strategies or whatever. It's like that's really like the best there is to do for you is to just like face it head on and get past it.
Like, I'm also worried that like I think my like uncomfortableness will like show through. You know what I mean? Like if I'm like, say something maybe like off-putting, or I seem like nervous or something.
I mean, they're like if I was there with you, you'd be like.
Love you, Liam.
Love you, people.
So ASMR.
Make a list of comments.
Just go ahead. Yeah. Delicious protein bar. I'm going to
Joe, with that ASMR clip, I'm not saying it would make me want to jump off a cliff, but if there was one outside my window, there would be thoughts.
Damn.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh my God, that was so horrible.
I'm going to go ahead. What's that? What is that? Oh, your freaking fancy mojito.
Oh my God, he made it disappear. He's magic.
If you must know, it is Sapphire Bombay vapor infused dry London gin with a splash of Sprite, 2 baby sour onions,
What?
2 mints, and a couple of drops of blueberry Japanese bitters. Stirred in a
I'm
whiskey
sorry.
glass.
Did you say 2 mints?
2
Like
little leaves of
icebreakers?
mint.
Okay.
Did he mention onions?
Yes, 2 sour baby onions, which I already ate because they were sitting in it a while.
I bet you it's good.
Oh no, it sounds good.
Y'all ever had pickled onions, like in a jar?
Fancy Pants McGee over here.
Ashley's grandfather turned me on to this drink, oddly enough.
Yeah, Ashley's grandfather turned me on too.
I know. I was there when it happened. It was quite the sight.
Pixar
Anyway,
didn't
Kevin.
happen, man. I know you have them. I know what that folder is.
Who are you talking to?
Anyways, hi Kevin, how are you
I
doing?
didn't hear what you said.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Hey, Kev, what's up, bro?
Playing D&D with the boys.
Nice.
Hey. Um. Alrighty. So, uh, Lilavati, what do you do?
I just like avoid eye contact and fidget.
Okay. Um, he turns away from you and continues talking to some of the others in his group. Um, and you see like several of the kind of soldiers that have been like wounded are kind of going into some of like they're sort of like setting up places to take care of them, and there's some people applying healing magic and things of that sort. Um, and you just hear a lot of kind of discussion among the townsfolk, people saying like, we can't go to war now, we don't have the people for it. But others saying it's like, well, we gotta protect our home. Can't just let them come and attack us here.
Chris, what do I know about Shyrus?
Make a history check. Um, you he serves under he's like he is a moon druid. He is so like Rallus is like the arch druid of the Circle of the Moon. So Shyrus is another member of that same circle. Um, and like so in campaign, most of the interactions y'all have had with druids has been the Circle of Dreams and Utamanyu. But compared to the Circle of Moon or some of the other older circles, the Dream Circle is kind of small and not particularly powerful and don't have a lot of members. But the Circle of the Moon has a lot of influence throughout Sharoner. And so even though Cyrus is not like an arch druid, like he's pretty well respected. And kind of given what you see before you, you can tell that like he's seems to be his role seems to mostly be in military organization, and he is in a pretty high position in that role. So he's definitely sort of like the ranking member here out of these like 60, 70 people. Um, but yeah. Uh, you see Sinajit and Zianya approaching you. Uh, and Sinajit says, you know, I don't know if you folks had other plans, but with all the good that you did here in Kanatra, uh, the wardens could really use your help.
Who's this saying that?
Sinajit,
Sinajit.
yeah. He says, you know, it makes me sad sometimes to rely on others for safety, but then I wouldn't have gotten to know Zianya or the rest of you so well, and Zianya kind of nods at this. So, you know, if you have another kind act left in you, uh, any other service you do in protection of Sharoner will be, I'm sure, rewarded by the right people.
So Najid, are you sure you'd have someone like me in your army?
I mean, armies need lots of different skills, and sounds like they're not looking for permanent enlistment, but just more of some assistance in what's going on here. I mean, the wardens have never been a super structured military compared to other nations. It's more of just highly skilled individuals who have been living in the jungles and know them well, um, and have the means necessary to defend their home.
I guess I just meant I'm surprised that you even trust me to fight alongside them.
I mean, I suppose the offer was more to your group in general.
Hmm.
I mean, FX and Sharoner are certainly not enemies by any means. In fact, I've heard some rumors that the purpose of the Jayas Council departure from Sharoner was to forge a more concrete alliance with FX.
I think
Um,
that's a great idea.
so,
I'm glad to hear that. So have you reconsidered any of the things that we talked about? I guess it was really just one thing.
yeah, he thinks for a second and he says, as much as I appreciate all that you have done for us, I still prefer to stay true to my morals.
I
Uh,
can respect that.
but as I said, anything that you do to continue to protect this great nation will be rewarded. And I'm sure such rewards will probably go towards your goals, if that's what you want.
I think we know exactly where we stand. Just wanted to make that crystal clear.
I mean, but what are the rest of you? Lovati, Core, you, or Lav?
Who's saying that?
Um, Senajit. He's Ambus on the merchant.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Chris. I'm confused as to Sanajit's relationship with the Deep Wood Warden.
So Senajit is like a merchant who was born and raised in Sharoner and has traveled across the jungles of Sharoner his whole life. The Deepwood Wardens are the protectors of Sharoner. They're the nation's primary fighting force and used to defend it from Dragonborn whenever they try to attack the northern reaches of the jungle, as well as deal with other problems. Um,
Okay, so he's just coming up because he loves Sharoner, not
yes,
because he has anything to gain with the Deepwood War.
and he doesn't. I mean, and it seems to imply that like he doesn't have anything against them either. Like he sees them as like the defenders of his home, and
Right.
that if they weren't doing their job, he wouldn't have a home to live in.
Thank you.
What agreement did you speak of?
I mean, you'll have to.
Did I doze off?
I mean, all I'm saying is that if you go talk to Sharis and
Oh,
offer
I'm
your.
referring to what Turkoman mentioned,
Oh, sorry. Okay,
to clarify.
I thought you were talking. Yeah, sure. Go.
Wait, I'm sorry. You were talking to me?
I'm just speaking out. And speaking to you and this guy.
Sinatra looks to you, Sir Coven, but doesn't say anything.
What?
Like
Sorry,
Love.
your question was.
My question was, what agreement did you speak about? Love genuinely seems like maybe he forgot something important.
Agreement. I'm confused too.
You
The
spoke to this guy in front of us
Mm-hmm.
talking about, did you think about, the potential agreement or whatever?
Oh, I just asked him. What did I ask him? I asked him if he had reconsidered any of the things we had talked about. I think was how I put it. And no, you did not. You were not present for that conversation because that is when Sorkoven went separate with Sanajit.
No, I
That
know
was in the
that.
Whisper Channel. Oh,
I know that. What I'm saying is, after Love heard you just say that, he would have asked about it because he he's got a low wisdom. He's not picking up on the cues. He's trying to figure out what's going on.
okay. Honestly, I don't think Sorkoven would say anything.
Yeah, still love. They're just kind of looking back and forth, but not saying anything.
Turn. Did I miss something? Cool.
I mean,
Maybe I went to the bathroom and this was going on.
He says, do you folks even know what your friend here is up to?
Whoa, okay. Hold on. Love. This is something that me and Sanajit talked about privately. I'm sorry, I'm just not ready to share it with the party. I hope you can understand.
Oh, it was a private conversation.
Yes.
Oh, are you
Yes.
trying to keep secrets, Sorkoven?
No, it's not a secret per se. It's just, it's just something that I really can't talk about
Something you
right
don't
now.
want to share with the party? Oh, maybe you should
Yeah,
remember that next time you snoop.
it's just, it's not interesting when I already know my secrets.
Oh, so you're willing to tell a merchant you've known for a few days, but not your companions that you've been traveling with for weeks.
I'm ready to tell it to people who I think are in a position to hear it. And I thought that was you, good sir. But I am remiss, and I do apologize. I promised you I'd never bring it up again. I lied. But this surely will be the last time.
I sure hope so. Um, well, I've I've given you something to think about, so I hope you care about this place as much as I do. And he turns and walks off.
That was an uncomfortable conversation. My.
Okay, all right. Let me just address the Loxodon in the room. Yeah. The thing about me and Sanajit, I don't think he likes tieflings very much. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Why?
Your guess is as good as mine. I just.
I've always seen tieflings as rather attractive. Oh,
That's
not
what
you,
I've.
Sir Coven, but you know,
Okay,
not
I'm not
not
sure how
not
to
you.
respond to that.
No,
Actually.
I,
Anyway,
I didn't.
anyway, It's really no big deal. So let's just go about our merry way.
That's good enough for me. About these wardens, they're so fascinating.
I
I'll
agree.
team up with them. Let's do it. Let's do it. I have my wand ready.
Olaf, you feel a tap on your like knee.
Uh, oh, of course. Are you ready to come out now?
No, the wardens are the bad guys. They're the ones that killed a bunch of my friends. You shouldn't go help
Oh.
them.
Oh, that's right. Oh man, I like the wardens. I don't like that though. This is a predicament.
Hmm.
Listen, I'm on your side through and through.
Perhaps if we work with the wardens, we could find more of your friends.
I don't like having to pick sides.
The great person once said, "If you stand for nothing, you will fall for nothing."
Hmm.
Uh,
Well, I mean, I would have fallen for just about anything, but if it has to be nothing.
don't remember if that's. No. It was this. When a Yotahala tree falls, can you hear it? No, that wasn't it either. Sorry.
Keep working on that, love.
All right.
Quite frankly, I find these wardens very. I'm getting a
Agreeable.
mixed feeling. From
Oh, sorry.
Why, Core?
They think in very black and white terms. He's dragonborn.
Well,
They're
to be
dangerous.
honest, sorry, I should let you continue. Sorry.
No. Continue.
I was just going to say that I've noticed the same thing from our friends in Utamanyu. I find them far too quick to judge. A lot of these big conflicts seem like a case of really bad communication. Maybe if we had someone to relay the true essence of what people want and need, we could avoid all of this bloodshed and death.
As great as that would be, I'm afraid the world's a lot more complex than that.
Right. About that.
As far as I see it, before these wardens arrived, we'd already made up our minds. Or at least I did. What's their presence got to change about it? If anything, reinforces our numbers. Right?
Working alongside Shyrus is the absolute last thing that I'm willing to do.
I'm sorry, Hui? Oh. That's right. It's you.
You know, this would be a lot easier to understand if we knew exactly what it is your beef was with him.
Oh, just the fact that his leader, the one who spearheaded my exile, and the one who called for the execution of my former circle leader.
His leader. Was he in support of, you've had interface with this individual? Direct?
Interface I've had with him was when he nearly condemned me to death in the forest.
This
Okay.
is new information for me.
Yes.
Yes. Wow. You seem upset.
I gotta check something. can never remember his name.
Rallis?
No, Dreedy.
Oh, yeah.
Dreedy was the closest thing to a father figure I've ever had, and he's dead. So excuse me if I'm on edge against these people.
No excuse needed. You have every right to be. I'm upset, too. I just heard about it. Wow, there's so many. It's like it's all connected. I don't know who to ask. Do I ask Core? Or do I ask you? Or do I ask who's got a more vested interest in what's going on here? Or do I ask me? Do I ask Sarkovan?
Don't ask me, please.
Well, perhaps we should. Where are we?
Probably like on a street just off the.
Can we go get a drink? It's the reason why we came here.
Um, actually, you see walking towards you, your little group, Cyrus himself, flanked by several of his troops.
I don't believe interrupted again.
I am on like full alert, and I'm ready to fucking fight at any given point in time at this point.
As he approaches, he kind of waves a hand and says, "Greetings. I've heard quite a bit about you lot from the various townsfolk I've talked to. They say you're the ones responsible for dealing with the creature in the lake as well as what happened to the tree here."
It's all true.
Seems like you quite a skill set. Um, and then he looks towards Core and says, "And where are you from, sir?"
The Rising Alloys.
Well, the people here seem to trust you, so I'll take them at their word. Now, um, I'm sure you've heard about everything that's going on, and I'd like to extend a personal invitation that you come help us with this challenge we're facing. As a druid of the Circle of the Moon, if there's anything within my power I can do for you, I would be most grateful for you to render your services in aid of the defense of Shariner.
The offer is appreciated. However, with all due respect, we are still a bit worked up from the situation at the lake. We might need some time to discuss, if you do not mind.
Kind of like a shadow passes over his face, and he's just very well. The Dragonkin don't give us much time to work with. Their attacks are sudden, fierce, quick. And I know I've lost many friends to their fires and claws and weapons. But if neither reward nor compassion will sway you, then I suppose I can't force you to help us. So, and then his kind of nose twitches a bit, and he looks towards Lilavati and says, "Do I know you?"
I'm sorry, I don't think we've ever met before.
Um, He kind of narrows his eyes at you and says, well, some of the townsfolk did mention a pink-skinned tiefling among your group. Maybe she might want to help out. Do you know where I could find her?
Was that directed at me or towards the group?
Towards the group.
I hate to be rude, but to reiterate what my good friend Cor here said, we tire from our actions down in the lake of ablution. Surely you understand. Speaking of the lake, perhaps you should go take a dip. You smell so bad.
He kind of like stands up straight and says, look, I don't know who you are, but this smell is a smell of hard-fought battle in defense of people I care about. I understand you're a little tired, but have you seen my troops? The ones that made it here after our retreat? They're worse off than any of you. And most of them are going to be back fighting again within a few days. So, have your beauty sleep. And you can thank the wardens for giving you a place to rest your head. And with that, he turns and storms off.
Where were the wardens when these people needed them? Where was Gondor?
He doesn't respond. And he's like 2 blocks away at this point.
Wow. That
Thank you, Paul.
was great.
Exceptional.
Oh, I'm gonna make a note of this.
Shall we make our way back to the tavern? I'm tired of standing in the middle of this town.
Don't mess with my tribe.
All right, so you'll head back to the Bright Bottle. What are y'all doing now? Anything for the time being, or just hanging out, continuing with the downtime?
Just checking. I've never met Shyrus before, right?
I had you roll history for him already, right?
Yeah, but that was
Okay.
about what I know about him.
Right. Make a, I would say a straight intelligence check. Now that you kind of saw him up close, and Lav was kind of trying to piss him off, but he definitely had some sort of smell to him that, and like smell is a strong trigger for memory. You do remember now he was at your trial. He didn't say or participate in anything. He was just kind of there as like in support of Rallis, but he was present.
Can I do another like check to see, can I piece together anything about like why would he have my scent?
With a 15 intelligence check, I think whatever assumptions Kevin is making seem to be. Lilavati is pretty convinced that those assumptions are correct.
Fuck.
Let me put it this way. when he was kind of up there in your face, he definitely like his big imposing form with his muscles, his like hair. He did kind of come off as sort of like a bearish individual.
Up.
Yeah, so Lil Vati seems spooked
Little
or
Vati is
real.
spooked and or pissed.
Gotta watch that video again.
Well, I suppose what any chance of working with Shyrus is out the window. Not that I'm complaining.
Quickly, let's go to the bright bottle.
Yeah, y'all are there. You just arrived.
Oh, okay. Sweet. I'd like a stiff drink.
Red wine, please.
Eochora, my tab.
Yashoda will serve your drinks. He will say though, I've been keeping everything on the house with what you've done for Kanatra, but if we're gonna have so many people leaving town, especially the guards, to go help out with the wardens, well, could use a bit more money if you got any change to spare.
I toss 30 gold.
Glad I asked. He will take it happily. Um, yeah.
You are a pillar of this community. And sometimes a pillar needs a bit support added to it.
Thank you. You know, you
I don't need a speech. Bring me my wine.
sounds good to me. He'll hand it to you. He brings you a bottle, like a full bottle. I don't remember if that's what you asked for, but he brought one anyway.
It's perfect. Now, what would each of you like? Because this is my bottle.
If there's some kind of equivalent to scotch, or whatever the closest thing to that would be, like a dark liqueur.
I could bring you a spirits whiskey.
Sounds perfect, thank you.
Whatever your strongest ale is, I'll take a glass of that.
Couldn't handle my strongest ale. My strongest ale would put you under the table.
You looking for some dragon's blood? 'Cause that will fuck you up.
Triggered.
I put an additional gold on the table, and I say that's not a concern to me right now.
Yeah, he'll bring that up for you as well. And that you drink the rest of the day away. Frara is joining in.
It's fucking awesome.
Later that
Is
evening.
she okay with being uninvisible?
Yeah, I mean
Okay,
in the
gotcha.
tavern. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
as long as she's like around y'all, she's happy.
I'd go upstairs and change after like an hour when it
Yep.
wears off.
Um, I
Is it possible for me to be on edge enough to like be ready to cast invisibility at a moment's notice? Like the entire day?
I think that's fair. It depends on the circumstances, but you can definitely be like as prepared as you can be for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you aren't gonna get bothered for the rest of the day or anything like that.
once I got proper inebriated.
Mhm.
Wait, I know Frara is with us.
Yes.
But did you say she was drinking anything?
Yeah.
Okay. Once I was proper drunk, I would say to Frara, "See? We jungle folk aren't so bad, right?"
She just laughs and says, "Yeah, I like you a lot. Now I just gotta get my hands in a kitchen so I can make you something nice."
I wonder if you're a better cook than Lilavanti. We're gonna have to have a little chef off or something.
Oh my goodness, I am starving. Make it happen, please. Now.
Uh,
Should I not be using Lilavanti's name? I just realized.
does I mean you're pretty drunk, but Lil Vati, are you downstairs? This would probably be like an hour or two after, so this guy itself would have worn off, but you're ready for invisibility if needed.
I would have said something to the party about like, if you need me, I'll be upstairs, and I would probably just not leave the inn room.
Gotcha.
I'll play it natural like that. Like I
Mhm.
said, Lilavati with no inhibition whatsoever, but then Zorkovan at some point would have been like, "Oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that."
Mhm. Yeah. And Farrar just says, "I don't know why she's so scared. I'm the one who's in danger here. Invite her down for some drinks. Then we can have a cook-off."
Do you see the power that we have here? You're not in any danger whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think. Cluck, 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 cluck.
I send a message to Lilavati. Get your sweet patootie down here. We are having a chef off.
Can I like
After
steal the message? No, I'm just kidding.
Place a hand on your head and place another hand.
No response.
She's her right now. You know. Anyway. Core. You got any people back home?
Oh, I mean, everyone in the Rising Alloys got one in particularly fond of. Her name's Auroras. She kind of rescued me back in the day. We've been close ever since. She's like a sister to me.
Sure.
Why are you winking like that? I'm being serious.
I'm sorry. I have no idea what you mean.
Stop that. Stop. You're creeping me out, love.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm going to stop letting look at you now. I just
Isn't he annoying, Core? All of his snide remarks.
Debonair hair.
I just need a straight. Just need a straight answer from him.
Oh, you're asking if he is annoying. You're asking if I'm annoying.
I'm asking Core. I'm asking Core why my dog is barking in the middle of the club.
Oh, Calvin, I didn't know you had a dog. What's his name?
Well, long time we couldn't come up with anything cute enough. So, at some point, we just named it after a delicacy that our family makes every so often, ball meat.
All meats. I like it.
Alright.
But where is the little rascal? I want to pet it.
Next time we're in Utamanu, I'll bring you there. He's so cute, uncoordinated.
Yes, that's a good plan. Man, that's some good shit.
So what are you hoping to get out of all this, Cora?
I mean, you know, the
No, I
Dragon
don't.
Wars, they're kind of bullshit. Lots of death and destruction. Pain, torture.
And
It's all terrible.
Farah's like a cute little snake buddy. She's adorable.
Hey, don't talk to her like that, alright? She's been through a lot.
Ah.
I'm sorry.
How old are you?
I'm sorry.
How old are you?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
I should know that. How old am I? It must be in my biography. I'm 32. 32.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to ask a tiefling his age.
Oh, I don't mind.
Well,
Very young at heart.
But you don't look it.
well, in kobold years, I'm probably around 47, 48. But you know how it is.
Don't look
I'm
a
not-
day past 13.
Wee woo, wee woo. Shit, what was I gonna say? I'm not quite sure I understand what you're implying, Farah. Can you...
Look,
Can
I
you
mean, just
spell
because
it?
I'm smaller than you doesn't mean you can call me cute little adorable. Like I'm
Okay, that's
I
I'm a
meant...
grown woman.
I meant no offense whatsoever. Your age has nothing to do with your adorableness. But I see what you're saying.
Look, are you gonna shack the two of you or not?
I am already betrothed to another. I don't have to tell you that.
And the drunken banter continues. And it goes,
Well, a little bit later, Mariella comes back to the inn, and she says, "So, Lav, ready for your big day tomorrow?"
I turn and I'm like, oh shit. Oh, it's you. Yes, I am. What's tomorrow?
I see. You're drunk. Eh,
Oh no.
probably for the best.
I don't get drunk.
No, he's definitely drunk.
Maybe. Just
We're all
Um,
drunk.
bit.
oh, you know, the
Why aren't you drunk?
my friend, I've been working all day.
Come here. Sit down.
Doesn't sound like you're working anymore.
Pull her into a chair.
She sits down. So, what's on the menu?
I pour her a glass. Actually, I just hand her mine and fill it up.
She takes a swig and says, "I should warn you, Lek is a person. Take that how you will.
I don't know what that means.
He can be difficult sometimes, but when it
Is that
comes to no, he's another member of my order, and the one who's going to be operating on you tomorrow. So,
Oh, thank God. Seriously?
But there's when it comes to magic and the written word, the inscribed symbol, there's none more knowledgeable than him. So
So you like him?
I tolerate his presence, and I appreciate his skill while being frustrated at his personality at times.
Well, not going to lie to you. I'm a bit frightened, but it's got to be done.
I mean, you'll probably like him. He's a lot like you.
Oh, uh, hold on. Hey, that's not fair.
You know, young
You
human
saying you
boy trying
tolerate
to take
my
on the
presence?
world. Well, look, if I had to choose between the two of you, actually, let me not answer that while drinking. And she takes another swig.
Fair. Also, he's not here, so you can lie and say it's me. It's fine. But yeah, um,
She pulls out her little book and
okay.
kind of weighs it and says, "He's the one who makes these, actually. And he'll be bringing one for you, assuming you're still up for joining the club."
He makes those books.
Yeah. He's what does he call it? A ink mage.
Mage. Interesting. Well, I'm a rune scribed.
Yeah, well, we don't have any rune scribes, so he's the best we got for fixing our problem.
That's more than I can. More than I can ask and hope for. I appreciate it.
So, are y'all planning on getting involved in this little conflict I've been hearing so much about today? Or is this gonna stay here in this tavern for the rest of eternity, drinking your cares away? Because I think that plan sounds better than anything else.
Will you be here with us?
Well, for some time, but I will have to be on my way in a few days.
Where will you go?
Probably to one of those lumber camps your father has set up. Still got a lot to figure out about what's going on there.
Yes. Very well. Enough business. I learned this really fun game in Eochora. And I go into it. I'm not gonna.
Alrighty. So, um, do y'all want to end the session here, or we can go into the next day and love having some runes removed? Um, might be quick, might take some time. I'm not really sure. 'Cause it's 11:30 now, but up to y'all.
I can play more.
I'm up for whatever.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to sleep for another like 5 hours.
Best. In the best way. I'm good for a little longer.
Alrighty. So, next day, you all wake with terrible hangovers.
I'd like to imagine Lilavati would have had some nightmares.
Probably. No hangovers. Um, Actually, yeah, you have a dream of yourself running through the jungle just after your trial, being hunted, running and running, and you're getting tired, and you know that the thing that is hunting you will never stop until you have been captured. And you're just out of breath, and you just collapse to the ground, and you hear loud, thunderous footsteps behind you, and you turn and you look, and you see this huge black dragon, but with Cyrus's face looking down at you, and it roars and raises a claw, and then you wake up. Um, and you struggle to fall asleep for the next hour or two until sunrise. Um, Everyone else wakes up with hangovers. Did I? Oh, yeah, we'll get into that later. All right. So, you head downstairs and you see Mariella chatting with a individual that you can only presume is Lecjantho, and I forgot to put him in the actors directory, but I think can I? No, it won't let me. Dang it. Let me drop that in real quick. Um, One second. Alrighty. And that. There we go. He looks like this.
Damn it, he's handsome.
Um, and as you approach, all of you are there, but he turns and says, "Ah, you must be love. Pleasure to meet you. I've heard so much about you." And he stands to shake your hand.
You are so attractive. Yes. Um, it is a pleasure to meet me. How are you? Hi. Thank you for coming. I should say.
My pleasure. When Mariella described the runes that are placed upon your body, I couldn't help but be curious. Um, so there are some things we'll need to get
Oh,
together
yes.
in order to make this process go as smoothly as possible. Um, so, and he kind of like snaps his fingers and says, "Innkeep, I need a bed arranged with chairs around it." And then he kind of turns to, and your sort of just nods and kind of runs into like a back room. Um, and he says, "We'll set this up in one of the rooms in the back." Um, But first, I will need to do some examination of these runes, try to understand what's going on here. And so you all kind of head to a back room in the inn, where you should kind of set up like there's sort of like a bed, but it's like all the blankets are taken off, so it's kind of like you can lay down on it. And he says, "Could you point out each of your runes?"
Who is in this room? Is it just me and him
Um,
and Mariella?
Mario,
Or...
he would have kind of gestured towards the party to come.
Okay.
I definitely would be worried, and I would just try to make it apparent that I want to help in whatever way I can. Water, comfort, whatever.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to that. There's a few things that are going to be happening here, but all right, so all right, he'll go ahead and ask you. Tell me about these runes, what they're capable of, how they were applied to you, how you activate them. Anything at all will be useful.
So I've got several of them. They augment my physical capabilities and make them through magic super superhuman.
And as you're describing this, he like leans down towards like one of the ones, say, on your arm, and is like kind of like grabs your arm and is like peering very closely at it, and he kind of like waves his hand around, and you see kind of like as he's like kind of using some magic to try to like identify it, and then and he says, "Continue," as he keeps working at it.
That one there's my a rune that enhances my physical strength, and I go into each one.
Yeah. After that first one, you see him wave his left hand kind of behind him a bit, and there are these vials of like a ink on his belt, and one of the corks pops off, and the ink begins flowing out of the vial, and you see on the other side of his belt is a similar book to the one that Mariella has, and he kind of like knocks it open, and the ink just begins pushing onto the pages, writing into the book without him even touching it. And if anybody cares to look, he's like writing down everything that you're saying about the runes. Um, as he continues his examination, he asks, "And how did you get them on your body?"
Just to say, love seems like as soon as as soon as everyone kind of piled in here, this is it just it seems like love is being like weirdly very shy about this, and I mean he's like removed most of his garment at this point, and he seems kind of the word escapes me right now, but nervous about his appearance and being seen. So, and then he answers, "They were forced upon me. When I was a child, it became apparent that I did not possess the abilities my brother and sister did do, and I don't need to go into it, but I was in a way discarded until my mother passed, and then my father got a hold of me, sent me to Sten's University, didn't help. My father, uh, he wanted me to have use, and because I didn't have any magic, I wasn't useful to him. Um, so he, I guess, found a way to force it on me, and that's what happened. A dragonborn named Mihi Majid locked me up and carved them into my body. Here we are.
Hmm. I see. Um, give me a second. All right, so he says after kind of looking over each rune, casting a few spells and writing down everything that happens, he kind of stands back and he says, "Well, quite interesting what we have here. So I noticed lots of hampering enchantments. Many of the runes are more about control and restraint than granting power. As if this dragonborn was, or your father were afraid of you awakening some internal power or the rune's magic going out of control. So there are definitely some runes on here for telepathic communication, runes that could be triggered to inhibit your power, effectively do the opposite of the ones that you take advantage of, that you are most familiar with, as you describe them to me. And so, as long as these runes remain on you, it seems that whoever knows the way to control them can effectively debilitate you at will. I'm guessing that's what you want removed?
Yes, yes, please.
There's also some here that seem to be powerful runes that would be of use to you, but they are other runes have been carved on top of them to lock away their power. Um, I can attempt to unlock these for you as well, if you'd like me to. Remove the ones that are hampering the more powerful ones, granting you
This
new
is
capabilities.
incredible.
It's not going to
I'm
be easy, but I'm just letting you know the situation here. So, as for the actual operation, he kind of crosses his arms and he says, so you see, magic by its nature is transient. Permanent magical effects are rare, and nearly always done so via runic magic because runes are durable. Because runes are so durable, this process will be neither simple nor easy. It would certainly be easier to remove all of the runes, but it doesn't sound like that's what you want. So I can attempt to remove just the binding and communication runes, keeping the runes of power and unlocking the runes shackled by others. This is a bit riskier, and if things do not go as planned, there might be consequences. It's hard to predict what they might be. There's a chance that you will lose all of the runes, even though that is not what I'm trying to do. You might lose your connection to the weave entirely and thus become completely devoid of magic. I should tell you that there is a chance of death. If I were to just go and attempt to remove these runes right now, I estimate slightly less than a 50% chance of success. But there are things we can do to help improve that. And he kind of looks around at the party and he says, first off, do we have any sort of sedative? Something to take his mind off of what is happening here.
Let me see. Outside of alcohol, I'm not sure I can be of too much help.
Marielle is flipping through her book trying to see if she's got any notes of anything that might help. Hmm. Um, Mariella stops flipping through her book, and kind of looks down and says, "Hey, Lilavati, when we were in the temple, you were examining all of the plants in that area. Was there anything you came across that might be useful here?"
Let me look. Nothing so far as a sedative, unfortunately.
Wait a second. What about the wild ash?
Not a sedative.
Well, Lek, would that help? What is that? She says to Lilavati.
It's more of a psychotic drug that'll make him more aware of things, not less.
Hmm. Lex says, more aware of what exactly?
Nature and the nearby surrounding territory.
Hard to say. Love, what do you think?
I also mentioned that it is highly addictive.
I can't. I can't ask. I can't ask anything of you, of any of you. I'm grateful that you're even here. And please don't feel obligated to stay. It may be hard to watch.
Do you think calming his emotions might help?
Uh, I could see it going either way. The wild ash might put him in more tune, might, as Lilavati say, make him more aware of what's happening to him, or might put his body more in tune with nature and focus on the surrounding environment, distracting him from what's happening here. I'm not sure, and
Me-
that's why I'm asking you, Love. It's your choice if you want to take this drug or not.
Regardless of the wild ash, I may be able magically to calm his emotions.
I have no desire to further inhibit my will.
Very well. All right, so next, is there some sort of mark that is important to you that I could place over the runes as I deactivate them? That would be the stronger your connection to this symbol, the more effective my disenchantment of these runes will be.
Um, this is a DM question. Is there something related to my mother that we discussed that I'm not remembering right now?
I don't have a specific answer in mind or anything like that. This is entirely up to you. But to answer that question, there's nothing that I am aware of related to your mother that would work here. So it's
Yeah, actually. Is there a... sorry, y'all. I wasn't prepared for this, but I do have something in mind. Um, um, do you remember? Okay, so the name of the sorry guys, the name of the deity that Lob's mother would have held close to.
Don't
It was
remember.
I think it was the wind.
Oh, Wuhea?
Yeah.
Wuhea is the goddess of wind and air.
Do
And
they
one
have
of
a
the
symbol?
I believe they do. I can pull up my list of gods.
Okay. I would have known what that was.
Yeah, for sure.
Seeing it if my mother had a symbol or something.
Oh, okay. So go ahead.
Regarding um, the like anesthetic or something,
Mhm.
I have two questions. One, would it still be possible to like rearrange spell preparation at this point?
Yeah, I think so. One thing I should just clarify. So right now, Lek is presenting several different things that will give general bonuses to the rolls that Lava is going to have to make. After he goes through these, each person is going to have an opportunity to describe a way in which their character specifically helps out if they have a way or anything like that. Um, so in terms of like coming up with your own ways to help, like you'll definitely have a chance for that soon. Um, but for a sedative, yeah, you can switch out whatever spells you want. I think that makes sense. That
And
Luovati would be prepared for this event.
a follow-up question: does will how does feign death work? Like when it says catatonic or cataleptic, does that mean he's still gonna be like conscious?
The target is blinded and incapacitated. Um,
It has resistance to all damage except psychic damage.
make a Arcana check. Hey. Huh? Okay. Yeah. I love it. So those are the right sizes
All
for
these
the
damn
thing?
intelligence rolls. Make it stop.
Okay, yeah, because remember it's got to like wrap around the sides and stuff. But yeah,
For whatever reason it doesn't work, I can just play around.
okay, that's so cute. I love it. Thanks so much, baby sweetie. What was that?
Who?
2? Um, Lilavati has not used that spell before, so she's not too sure. It's possible, but it might not.
Can I prepare it anyway?
Yeah. Do you want to bring it up as an option, or just have that?
Yes. I'll mention the spell and what it can do, but I'm not sure like if it'll make it worse or not.
I'm open to it. I don't think your magic could hurt me.
All right. So, okay, sorry, I did find the symbol of Wuhea, because she's also the goddess of snow and ice. It's a snowflake on a breeze. It's like a little symbolic snowflake with like trails of wind on it.
Are you familiar with Ruhea? Is it a goddess?
Yes.
The goddess Ruhea.
I recall the name. That's one of the elemental gods, right? And then the ink kind of shifts and picks up the book and holds it in front of his face, and the ink like flips through the pages. And he says, yes, yes. I have some information on her.
Are you familiar with her symbol?
Yeah, there's a sketch right here. The snowflake with the wind behind it.
Yes.
All right.
If it's not too complicated, that would mean a lot to me.
That'll work great. Yeah. Okay. So next up, is there some kind of weapon or tool that you use often? It doesn't need to be magical, but I can use it as a conduit to harness the magical powers during the extraction process.
I have a wand.
And you use this wand regularly?
Yes, my sapphire crystal wand. And I take it out.
All right, that'll do. And he holds out a hand. Or actually, he'll say, place it right next to you where the tip is touching one of your, or touching this rune right here. And he gestures to one of the runes on your side.
Just the tip?
That'll do. All right, and lastly, we will need lots of arc loot. At
I just
least
start pulling out my pockets.
at least 100 grams, but more will certainly help.
100 grams.
I should come up with my own units of weight for my world. I like the way Final Fantasy does
I
distances.
think my inventory got nixed. I think my inventory got wiped out.
I know you took some arc load from.
I definitely had a bunch. I had a bunch. I don't remember how much I had though. I think I had 600 or something. I don't know. Something crazy. There's no way to see like a previous version.
Let me see. No.
Okay. I'll take out whatever I had. Could have sworn I had a lot, but
I mean, y'all found a bunch at in the temple. I don't remember how much though.
think Lav and I split it between us.
Well, how much do you have then?
I did have some from the
I think I
previous.
picked up 150.
Okay.
They were in those little pouches, right?
Yeah.
I think I
I
got
know
some from
Eochora
that
took one or
first
two.
dungeon.
All right. Well, if Lilavati has 150 just from the temple, we'll say that Lav, you have 200 total. So he said, yeah. So he says, the more we use, the better, but it's up to you how much you want to put forth for this effort.
Take it all. Take all mine.
Okay. So that's 200 being used. All right. So okay. So here's how this is gonna work. So I'm taking a page out of Taylor's book. Lav is going to have to make an ability check with each ability score. So strength, dex, con, wisdom, intelligence, charisma. Um, you're going to receive bonuses based on all the things that you've already done, like flat numeric bonuses. In addition, each player can help out with one of those ability checks by describing a way in which you help out. And that'll grant advantage on that roll. I already talked to Chris about it, and he said that Turkara is going to use her lay on hands to try to channel some healing energy onto Love and help him endure the pain, which will give him advantage on his Constitution check. But the other 5 ability scores remain open for each of you to help out however you see fit. Um, Wilvati, if you're going to use Feign Death as a sedative, I'll give you the bonus that the sedative would provide instead of giving advantage on a specific check. Or you can do something else to give advantage on a specific check.
Yeah, I was gonna do the sedative portion and then just trying to pray, I guess.
Okay.
I was gonna considering my recent encounter with her, I would im implore a Heffing's aid, if possible, to help Love through it, using my healing warmth.
Okay. So yeah, that'll apply the sedative bonus. And like this is, feel free to kind of take this however you want. It can be like a feature you have or a spell, or it can just be like, something you would do if your friend was about to go through a surgery in like a place like this, or however else your character thinks they might be able to help out. Because a lot of this is both physical and mental. And Lek will explain that he's going to use the ink that he controls and pass it through Lob's skin like a very fine needle to push out the arc load that the runes are created with that have because the runes are actually arc load that's basically been tattooed into Lob's skin. So he's going to use the ink to try to push that out. But there's a lot of magical forces in there that are keeping the runes in place, as well as like it's not going to be a pleasant experience to have all that arc load extracted from his body.
Would it? Question for DM.
Mm-hmm.
Would it make any sense at all that Sorkoven, in using his bardic inspiration, give some sort of performance or perhaps speech, for lack of a better word. Channeling that and also using his gift of foreknowledge, foreseeing that there would be a moment today in which he would have to use the power of his personality to both inspire love to get through this magical surgery, um, and also to maybe boost the spirits of everyone involved.
Yeah. So you can, with that help, you can either give advantage on his charisma check, or you can apply your bardic inspiration as a bonus to his charisma check. What's your bardic inspiration dice?
I believe it is 1d8.
Okay.
Let me double check that.
That makes the math very close, I think.
Yeah, it's a 1d8.
Um, so it'd be 1d20 plus 1d8 versus. Um, yeah. So I mean, would you rather do the bardic inspiration bonus or the advantage?
You're saying the math comes out similarly?
I'm trying to figure that out.
It really, I mean, if it's close, I probably would just take the advantage.
Let me see. The the 1d8 actually has this average of 15, whereas advantage has an average of 13.8. But the like it does kind of depend on like what the target is. If the target, and I know the target, but you don't know the target. So like I think if the way the math works out is if the target is a like high number, then it is better to go with the plus d8. But if the target is like 10 in the middle somewhere, then the advantage is better or something like that. Um,
Just gonna go with advantage if that's
all
okay.
right, sounds good.
Are there torches in this room
Um, there's like little lanterns, I guess.
with flames within them?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a stupid question. Um, then with that, Sorkoven would cast control flames, changing them to a purplish hue, making them slightly larger. He'd pull out his drum, and with a cast of cavatina, making its bellows deeper, bigger, um, and with minor illusion, creating the image of a snowflake pounding the drum, and with each pound of the drum, his eyes grow slightly larger, slightly brighter, slightly more intense, and almost as if possessed by another being altogether. He states that in ancient times, within the wind of Wuhea, the silent ones wait to be awakened true. Their slumber may be void, it may be not. Their once echoing voices until Eochora has no memory of their beginnings. In the dark, they will watch, they will wait. Those who go to Wuhea for answers will return surely with only new questions, and these will come when silence ends. The one who carries the light will awaken. The voices with him, one whose fate was twisted towards shadow long ago in the time before time when the light burst from Eochora. The answers to the questions will begin, but only begin, for still Eochora will not be ready to learn the truth of its past or the secrets of its future.
Nice.
Love has a boner.
Cool. And Core, are you helping out?
My thought is that Core would probably, in the event, he'd probably want to keep Lob as steady or still as possible. So perhaps like being there to just sort of physically support him, just keep him as like still as he possibly could.
Hmm.
While also, I'm thinking, I'm not sure how you'd want to interpret this, but I could, in the event that he starts to like experience or release any form of like magical energy, I could also cast absorb elements to sort of take that energy for him to keep him as calm as possible as well.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, so kind of holding him steady and keeping him from, thrashing about or doing anything like that is definitely going to be valuable. So that'll give him advantage on his strength check. Um, all right.
Can I do one more thing?
Sure.
Um, do I remember where Lov keeps his wisdom rune?
Make an intelligence check.
Oh boy, I love these intelligence checks.
Um, I'd say you're confident it's one of two runes, but you're not sure which of those two it is. Do you want to? I mean, you can ask him, or I mean, he would have mentioned it when he was describing all the runes, so I think actually it makes sense that if you're paying enough attention when he was talking about all the runes, then you would know which one it is.
I would have been listening.
Hmm.
Um, I would touch that rune,
Hmm.
and I would uh cast enhance ability
Cool.
for Owl's wisdom.
Nice.
It's the one on my heart.
Alrighty. Yeah, I think that'll give you advantage on that wisdom check. Alrighty. So, anything else anyone would like to contribute before we go through with this?
I will be ritual casting Feign Death, so it'll take like 10 minutes,
Yeah,
and then
I mean that's fine. You have the time.
and then yeah.
I'd like to say, whatever happens, please know that I've grown fond of each of you, and the fact that you're here and being here and doing this for me. I've only ever had that once, and it was taken, and I feel like I've gotten it back, and that's all I ever needed. So whatever happens, I thank you.
Alrighty. So, here is, I'm putting in the Foundry chat a list of the bonuses that are being applied. So, the Feign Death does properly function as a sedative, granting Lava +2 on all of the rolls. His connection with the symbol of Luhea is strong enough to give him a +2 bonus as well. His connection with his wand is strong enough to apply a +2 bonus. And using up 200 grams of arc load is enough to give a +3 bonus. So in total, for each ability score roll, Lav will add the ability score, not your proficiency bonus, and then +9 on top of that. And you have advantage on the strength, constitution, wisdom, and charisma checks. Now, before we roll, I'm going to post in the chat all of the possible results so that it's clear that this is entirely the dice deciding what happens. Didn't format great. Hold on.
This fucking song. Why is this so appropriate for what's about to happen?
All right. So if Love succeeds every roll, the number of sorcery points he has permanently doubles. If he gets, and these are cumulative, if he gets 5 successes, he learns an additional metamagic option. 4 successes, the operation is a success and it is pain-free. The binding runes are removed, but there are no other benefits. 3 successes, the operation is successful, but it's incredibly painful. You gain 3 levels of exhaustion and are reduced to 1 hit point. 2 successes, Lek had to remove all the runes to save your life, so you are no longer have runic magic. 1 success is you are completely separated from the weave and cannot ever cast a spell in any form or way again or attune to magic items. And no successes is the stress of the operation is too much and Love dies.
Holy shit.
The final factor is that the DC for each of these rolls is 20. So remember, you have a +9 bonus on top of your ability score and advantage on 4 of the 6 rolls. Um, so
Gotta throw up. Okay.
what happens at this point is out of my hands. Do you
2,000 grams of Arcload stat.
do you want to roll physical dice? Do you want to roll it in the system? It's up to you.
You accept the terms and conditions.
Have you read the fine print?
I think I have to roll in the system because I don't have my dice out, and it would probably make noise.
Okay.
As much as I would like that.
Let me. So for let's see, did this work? Nope, that's not what I wanted. Let me show you the command to type in.
So it's a 9 plus whatever my ability
Okay,
score.
so all right, so I sent in 2 commands. I had to put the minus sign in the front so that it wouldn't actually roll it myself. Oh wait, actually I messed up the second one. Hold on. Minus R1 20 keep highest +9. Okay. Yeah, okay. So it starts with the /R space and then the 1d20 plus whatever. So the first one is for the 2 that you don't have advantage. The second one is advantage. Or it might be keep
What's
highest.
KH?
It's for keep highest. I think you need a 1 in there though, so let me put that in.
I'm still confused.
Okay.
But
Sorry. There we go. That should do it. All right, so first off is your strength score, which you do have advantage of thanks to core. So go ahead and execute the second command without the minus sign in the front.
okay.
And make sure it's set to public role.
Okay. How do I implement my strength though?
Oh, right. You have a +0 strength, so you don't need to add anything to it.
Gotcha.
But you'll need to increase the 9 by the modifier.
So I roll 2d20 or 1?
Just do the second command. It'll roll with advantage and take the highest automatically. All right, so that is 1. Wait, did that do it?
Rolled 1 die.
And it should be 2d20, right, Chris?
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
So I'll just roll
Okay.
another one.
Yeah. Just do that same command again. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's with advantage, so either way that would have done. Okay, so that's the correct one.
So I don't die.
No.
We did it.
So as everyone's kind of gathered around there, Sarkovan is creating the atmosphere. Lilvati and Takara are channeling magic into him. And Lek begins moving, like the needle, or not the needle, the ink forms like a very sharp, thin line of ink that's needle thin, and begins moving it towards one of the runes. And Love, you're kind of like tense, getting ready for it, and the pain catches you off guard. But Core, you are ready. You hold them in position as the ink goes through and it begins pushing the arc load, and you see it kind of like as it pushes the color of the rune off of the skin, it kind of like floats into the air and then like dissipates the individual parts of the rune. And now you can go ahead and roll dexterity. So this would be the first command I sent, but change the 9 to a 12 because you have +3. So it's just 1d20 plus 12.
At the first string of pain, I scream, "Not again!"
Remember, you are cataleptic.
Oh, never mind. So yeah,
maybe
you
I was like,
subconsciously start flexing and thrashing about, but Core keeps you in place. Um, the the needle is moving through his skin, but not quite precisely enough. And you start seeing bright flashes of light on his skin, and like the hair gets kind of singed away, and you can definitely tell he's in pain from that. All right, next up is Constitution. So this will be the advantage one, 2d20 keep highest one, but +10 because you have a +1 con bonus. Takara is doing her best to cure these wounds as they're created from the magic burning off. Um, but the magic is just too potent for her lay on hands to overcome. Um, Next up is intelligence. So this is you don't have advantage, and it's a +10 bonus. So Love, you're kind of in a catatonic state right now, but your brain is working subconsciously, using everything you've learned about magic to and all of you see the magical kind of like effects that are happening as a result of this process suddenly begin to like die down and weaken. And Lek is like, okay, he's taking control of it. This is good. Um, Keep going, Love. And you can't hear him, but he keeps shouting support. Um, Next up is Wisdom. So this will be the advantage one, but it's a +8 instead of a +9. Um, Lilvati, you are trying your hardest. You've cast a spell on him, but it seems that the catatonic state, although helping him not experience the pain, is kind of preventing your owl's wisdom from having any effect on him and nullifying the effect of the wisdom rune that you're trying to kind of activate for him. And you can tell that things are starting to look a bit worse. And for the final roll, charisma, you have a +13 and you have advantage. Love. As Lilvati's spell puts you into a catatonic state, You begin to dream. At least you think it's a dream. You're not quite sure, but it feels like a dream. You you're flying in the sky, wind all around, not a care in the world. You're floating on clouds. It feels wonderful, actually. And you hear a female voice speaking out to you. Welcome. I was quite fond of your mother, and it's a pleasure to meet you. You have
Have I
been.
died?
That remains to be seen. But you have spent your whole life trapped, imprisoned, bound by shackles invisible to most, but well known by you. Your mother was your one window in your jail cell, the one hope of freedom for you. I have come to bring you the freedom that you deserve. But freedom is useless without purpose. And once you are free from your father's shackles, what will you do? The choice is yours, but I think that choice needs some knowledge. Have you ever wondered if you had a chance to speak to her before she passed, what your mother would say to you?
I think about it. I think about her every day.
She's here. Your mother is here. You feel her presence. You smell her hair. You hear her voice. Love, love, please, Father, Sharoner, protect, love. It's faint, but it's there. Do not,
Mother,
I beg.
Mom,
And just before it fades, one final word. Witness. You're in a dark room. It is damp and musty and filled with old books, spilled potions, and the scent of sweat. The center is dominated by three stone slabs, each with a figure laying upon it. On one is a young woman you don't recognize. On another is your mother, Yela. Both of these women seem to be gently sleeping, their breath rising in unison and their hands at their sides. Faint runes glimmer in the stonework around their hands. They wear simple brown clothes, but their stomachs are bare. On the third table is your father, but unlike any time you have seen him before, he is decayed. His skin is sunken into his flesh, his clothes are dirty and torn, his eyes stare at the ceiling. He does not breathe. In the center of the three slabs is a vaguely familiar older man. He holds something in his hands. It is a triangular weapon with three separate blades extending from a single handle. He is covered in sweat, breathing heavily as he reads from a scroll. Low candlelight flickers around the room. The older man turns towards the unknown young woman. Holding the strange knife, he slowly pushes it into her abdomen, drawing blood. She doesn't react. Once the blade reaches its hilt, he begins pulling it back out. He lifts up the dagger, and a trail of blood leaks from her gaping wound through the air up to the tip of the dagger. You notice her breathing has stopped. Then he turns towards your mother. He hesitates as a tear falls down his cheeks. But determination fills him as he steps toward her stone bed, the trail of blood still floating in the air connected to the first woman. The man lifts the blade once more. His hand wavers, but suddenly he strikes downward, stabbing your mother in the abdomen. Again, he retracts the blade, and a second stream of blood emerges from her. The first woman now looks like your father, the life drained from her as her body begins to wither faster than natural means. The man wipes his face, then quickly turns from your mother towards your father. This time he steps towards your father's head. He gently places the last blade of this triangular weapon into your father's mouth. Blood continues to flow from both women through the air, passing into the weapon and then into your father. His limbs thicken. Color returns to his cheeks. His eyes flicker, and the older man gasps with excitement. Your father's finger twitches, but then suddenly the blood floating through the air falls, splashing across the ground. Your father coughs, chokes, then falls silent. The man conducting this ritual shouts, screams, falling to his knees, rubbing his hands in the blood, and then trying desperately to shovel it into your father's mouth. But it is too late. The ritual has failed, and the man is alone with 3 corpses where there had only been 1 before without life. The next thing you know, you're awake. Your friends around you. Your body is screaming in pain, but something feels different about you. The runes are still there, at least the ones you want. The ones that you don't are gone, all thanks to the help of your friends. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Nice.
So wait, the older man was alive, and my father had died as well?
Yes.
Okay.